Hey guys, Savage Joy here with Real Progressives. Tonight we are continuing the green theme. And tonight I am joined by Mr. Austin Bashore. Am I pronouncing it right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, good. He is a green running in Ohio for the House State Rep District 75. So he actually just announced about 2 months ago. So he is on a write-in campaign,
Yes.
which, as you know, I've certainly had those candidates before. So what made you decide to jump in? I don't want to say so late, but only 2 months before the general.
Well, a very simple answer to that is I wasn't in the country at the time to get on the ballot in the general election. I had previously been living in South Korea. So frankly, I just wasn't in the country at the time. And when I came back, I was really inspired by a Green here in Ohio. His name is David Baker. He's running in Ohio's second district. The reason why he announced is because our ballot access in the second district was stolen by a neo-Nazi here in Ohio, which is absolutely disgusting. So he decided to run a write-in campaign, and he had supported me during my time in Korea, and I was inspired by him, so I decided to run as well. I thought, what the heck, I can do it too.
Absolutely. And what was his name?
David Baker.
David Baker. Okay, awesome. So I looked over your platform and it's funny because for someone who just got in the race 2 months ago, I'm like, some of this kid's stuff is like seriously way more intact than people I've interviewed who have been doing this like multiple times. And before anyone asks, because I know it's coming, what is your age?
I am 21. I was born in April 2nd, 1997.
Okay, because I know someone's gonna ask. Because
Yeah.
I look, I'm 40 and I look 12, so I get it. So I knew it was gonna come.
Yeah.
So interesting that you went to South Korea because
Mhm.
you actually did a lot of work with the Green Party there.
Yeah, I am an international observer for the Green Party of South Korea.
That's so awesome. I mean, I did not know they had one. I'm going to be totally honest.
The T-shirt I'm wearing is actually from the Green Party of Korea. It says from the village to the earth, Green Party Korea.
Oh, that's rad.
Yeah.
So is their platform comparable to ours?
Yeah, all the Greens are adhere to the policy of the Global Greens, which includes things such as social justice, democracy, nonviolence, feminism and gender equality, and stuff like that. So each international Green Party can interpret them in their own ways. For example, the Green Party of Mexico is a center-right organization. However, the Green Party of Korea is a left progressive opposition.
Oh,
They are actually the fastest growing political party in South Korea as well.
awesome. And what was it like teaching them about our electoral process in the United States?
It was really struggling. It was a bit of a struggle because South Korea is a multi-party system. When I worked with their candidate for Seoul mayor, there were 10 candidates on the ballot, 9 parties, and 1 independent. So it was kind of stressful trying to explain that like we only have 2 parties here. And Greens never hardly win. And when we get more than 5%, we have a party. We have a whole celebration. Yeah. So it was really interesting learning about the Korean democracy system because Korea didn't democratize until the 1990s.
Right.
Before that, they were under control of military dictatorships with somewhat of a democratic system. But they didn't fully democratize until the 90s, 87, 90 era. So their democracy is young and new. However, if people are interested in Korean politics, I suggest that you keep up with the news every single day, because all of the political parties from the 2012 presidential election no longer exist. And 3 of the parties from the 2017 presidential election no longer exist as well.
Wow.
Yeah, they
That's
constantly go under name changes.
Wow. We could learn something from that.
We can definitely learn from our Korean brothers and sisters.
So what else? It sounds like this gentleman was very important to you, but what else inspired you to run, especially as a Green? What made you choose that party?
Mhm. I had never been a Democrat, to be honest. I have always, for as long as I can remember, been a revolutionary socialist. And it is core to my ideology that the Democratic Party is not the vehicle for revolution that we need here in the United States. They have kicked out, purged their leftist members of their party. Originally, I had signed up to join the Party for Socialism and Liberation out of California. However, during the presidential election, I was going to write in their presidential candidate, Gloria La Riva. But one of the PSL members told me, hey, don't do that, vote for the Greens, because my vote won't count because she's not a writing candidate. And I said, the Greens, those weird weed smoking hippies, why should I vote for them? And then through the Kent State Socialist Collective, I invited the Green Party candidate for Senate in 2016 to come speak on campus, Joe DeMar. And then from there, after that, I've been working with the Greens ever since.
It's kind of incredible though how we have to come up with things to write our own candidates in. Like
Yeah.
I wrote in Bernie. I was like, I'm not voting for Hillary. I'd rather die. So I'm just gonna write the man in who would have won anyway. But yeah, it's really incredible. And good for you for, taking a stand and just doing your own thing. I did see Miss Jill Stein did endorse you personally.
That was exciting. I nearly passed out. Okay. I hadn't met Jill before. She was such a big inspiration to me. And literally her entire existence. I love this woman. She had gone to Korea 2 weeks before me. So I missed out on that. Also, during her presidential campaign, she had came to Cleveland, but she got sick during that event. She caught pneumonia, so they sent Yone Indigo from the Greens instead. And so I had never met her. And the first time I meet her, she's campaigning for me here in Kent. And I was like, whoa, and our candidate for governor, Constance Goodell Newton. And then she filmed an endorsement video, and I was standing there behind the camera shaking, because this is my idol. This is the 2-time presidential candidate of my party endorsing me first time we meet. She asked me to buy her cranberries. So I ran around campus looking for cranberries, and I could never find them. But it was exciting for me to receive that endorsement. I was also endorsed by the 2016 Socialist Party USA presidential candidate, Mimi Sotoy-Sik, as well as we've seen international solidarity videos from the Green Party of Korea and the Young Greens we've seen received solidarity messages from the Green Party of Taiwan, the Young Greens there. So even though we're a small local campaign, we have an international impact in just this small local race.
That is amazing. Yeah. Jill was actually, I was like, Jill's not going to like me. I'm a burner, but I'll, whatever. I'll introduce myself. And I did. And she was so nice. Like, she was kind. And she was very like, what kind of activism do you do? And like, she actually cared.
Yeah.
Go figure. So what, you obviously have green energy on your platform. I should hope so.
Absolutely.
What are some of the things? It's kind of a broad topic. So what are some of the areas you would like to see change in your district or in your state as a whole?
So just like the Green Party, I have 10 key plans for state representative. They include things such as green energy, making a job, house, healthcare, and education constitutional rights in the state of Ohio, ending racism and mass incarceration, full federal equality for women, full federal equality for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer people, defending our unions, grassroots democracy, youth rights, education reform, and peace and freedom.
Awesome. Which one, should you get elected, which one do you want to attack first? What do you think is the most prevalent?
The most prevalent one that I think Democrats and Republicans can both agree with, because I'm going to be in a majority Republican legislature, would be the Green New Deal. To be able to bring Republicans into that, I just believe the allure of job creation would help that, as well as solving our need for climate change. However, my Republican opponent in the race, Jim Lutz, does not believe climate change even exists. So it's going to be an uphill battle with the Republicans in the Ohio legislature. But I believe the allure of jobs and American manufacturing will be enough to help push the Republicans into supporting a Green New Deal.
Yeah, for sure. Do when you're canvassing and phone banking, do people seem open to voting for a third party?
Yes, absolutely. Here in Kent and Southern Portage County, we have Kent State University. So it is a very strong hub of student activism and progressivism. So people are excited for a third party. I think this is the first time a third party candidate has ran in this area since, I think, 2010, when the Constitution Party ran a candidate. So there's never been a progressive third party running in this district. People are excited. The students get excited when I talk about legalizing marijuana, when I talk about ending student debt, when I talk about establishing Ohio as a feminist utopia. Students get excited. And when I go off campus and I talk about the rights of farmers, and when I talk about the rights of universal health care and Black Lives Matter, those really hit home on and off campus. So people are really excited. Even though I'm a writing campaign, they're still willing to vote for me just because they're ready for a progressive change.
Awesome. What are the differences between you and the Democratic candidate?
So there's an issue in Ohio called Issue 1. Issue 1 is on the ballot, and it is to decriminalize drug possession and treat it as a health issue and not a criminal one. However, both my Democrat and Republican opponents oppose Issue 1, and after listening to what the minority communities in our district who are most affected by the racist drug war had to say, I fully endorse Issue 1. Both my Democrat and Republican opponents do not endorse Issue 1. Another thing that differentiates me from my Democratic opponent is that I have a full 10-point plan. My Democratic opponent on her website has her life story, and it's a beautiful life story. She is a mom who is concerned about healthcare for her disabled son. Beautiful life story, but it's not a very well-rounded campaign. I keep getting mailers for some reason from her campaign. She's sending her opponents political mail, and I've requested to be taken off of her mail because I know how important it is, and I don't want her to waste precious resources. But that's out of her hands. It's a third-party mailing service that she uses.
She might be trying to get you to drop and jump on her team.
Yeah, that has happened in Arizona recently. A Green Party candidate who kind of shocked the Arizona Green Party by getting the nomination through write-in processes recently dropped out, and we've been getting messages. I'm the deputy social media director for the Ohio Greens, so we've been getting a few messages today about telling our candidates to drop out. Sorry, that's never going to happen.
Wow, that's crazy. Wow. Why? And I guess, can you expand on why he would drop?
Why the Arizona Green Party candidate would have dropped? I honestly have no idea. I got news from it through the Democratic Party. I don't know this candidate. I've never heard of them before. But I believe it has to do with the fear of the spoiler effect coming into play.
Yeah, that makes sense, definitely. Does the Democratic candidate take big money?
My Democratic candidate currently has $12,000 on hand. My Republican opponent has about 2,000, and I have about 10. Um, I do not
Like
accept corporate.
10,000 or like
No, I have $10, period. All.
I
I'm a
was
college
like,
student.
wow.
Yeah, I'm a college student. I am a zero money campaign. I do not accept money donations. Money is the bane of all evil. So the only donations I accept are physical donations called in kind. So people buy me business cards and donate them to my campaign, or donate physical item donations are the only thing I accept. Um, so I don't know the specifics of my Democratic opponent's where she aligns with her donations, but I do know she has as up to $12,000 on hand.
So what is the process as far as debates? Have you guys had a debate? Or they
We
have and
had
you haven't been included?
there's actually been a few of them I've been included. The League of Women Voters included me in their face-to-face debate. The local Lions Club, the Brimfield Lions Club, actually included me into their debate. There have been a few that I've been excluded. Another Lions Club event I was not invited to. Um, the news sources have essentially done a blackout. The Record Courier did not invite me to their debate. There was a debate on Portage Pulse, which is a student-run political show where they contacted my Democrat and Republican opponent. My Republican opponent didn't respond, and my Democratic opponent declined to be on the televised debate. So it was just me. So that was really exciting. The Record Courier is a local newspaper here in southern Portage County. And when I found out they had excluded me, I physically showed up to their office. And I was like, hi, my name's Austin Bashore. I'm the Green Party candidate. Why are you ignoring my campaign? And their excuse was, oh, we just didn't know you were a candidate. And I said, that is not an acceptable excuse. My name is on the website for the Portage Board of Elections. Why are you not keeping the journalistic integrity? And they tried to use the excuse that, oh, we just didn't know. And I understand where they're coming from, but I don't see that as an excuse because I'm on Vote 411. I've been invited to the League of Women Voters debate. I am on the Portage County Board of Elections website. So my campaign is there. They just weren't digging hard enough to find it.
Right, right, absolutely. Now, to get on the ballot in your state, I know you entered late as a write-in, but to
Yeah.
get on the ballot as a green, what are the what's the setup? Do you need X amount of signatures? Do you need to pay a certain amount of money? I've heard it all goes by states. So what is
Mhm.
the process for Ohio?
To be a write-in candidate, anyone can apply to be a write-in candidate. It's just an $85 charge, and then you go through all the processes, and boom, you're a write-in candidate. All write-in candidates in the state of Ohio are classified as independent. We can be endorsed by political parties, but we are independent candidates. To get on the ballot, I believe you need 25 signatures for a petition. Don't quote me on that. But if you do not get on the ballot, you can become a write-in candidate during the primary. And I believe you need about 15 or so write-in votes in the primary to become on the ballot. So there's two ways to get on the ballot as a Green Party candidate here in
Wow,
Ohio.
I've spoken to candidates who need thousands of signatures.
Mm,
Thousands. I mean,
yeah,
it's incredible, and I'm sure that's by design, of
yeah.
course. Some of the candidates I've spoken with have had to pay up to $12,000 to even run third party and get their name on the ballot. These
Yeah.
are
It's just an
it's
Oh,
crazy.
wow. That's the only leeway the state of Ohio gives us is running as a write-in candidate. Write-in candidates can win. We have won in the state of Ohio as a write-in campaign before. We have a current Green that's been elected in Youngstown as a write-in candidate. And in Portage County here, in my district, we have about 12,000 or so people that historically vote in a in a non-major election year, in an off-year election. And 33.3% of that is 4,000 votes. So it is very doable for a writing candidate to absolutely win here in Southern Portage.
Awesome. Presidential wise, who did your district go to?
I believe our district went to Donald Trump, which is shocking because we do have Kent State University on our campus.
Right.
So that took me by surprise. I believe we were one of a few pivot counties, the counties that voted twice for Barack Obama and then went for Trump in the presidential election.
Right. I'm in Pennsylvania. That's what happened here as well.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like a lot of people who voted Trump are now becoming more, I'd say, even centrist, more
Yeah.
open to more progressive ideas, especially Medicare for all and things like
Mm-hmm.
that. Um, do when you do door knocking and phone calls, what is the number one thing you hear from voters, their number one concern?
Some concerns I've heard include access to healthcare, and I believe the phrase access to healthcare is not adequate enough. We should have a right to healthcare because just having access isn't going to cure your ailments. We need to have a right to healthcare free, no matter your citizenship here in the state of Ohio. Um, and other things I hear are the rights of farmers. I want to help. I come from a generational lineage of farmers in southeastern Ohio. For about 70 years or so, we have lived in southeastern Ohio farming at least 4 generations that we can track. And the biggest threat I see to family farms is corporate farming, and family farms being bought and sold to the highest bidder. And I want to be the advocate against corporate farming and returning farms back to the farmers and making farming profitable again. Because more and more often we see local family farmers turning to off-farm revenue in order to survive. And I don't think that should happen here in the state of Ohio, as well as these giant corporate agribusiness groups are using their government subsidies, because they're classified as farms, to drive down grain prices. And that has an effect all over the world. So when poor farmers from Africa and Asia want to sell their grain on the international market, they can't do that because the American big corporate agribusinesses are driving the prices so low that they can't compete. So it's only continuing the poverty worldwide. And they also destroy local communities through vertical price integration and other fancy economics phrases, basically saying local people can't compete when it comes to billionaire farmings.
Right. My brother here at RP, Mark, he's asking, is there an on-campus Green Party presence at KSU, and are they helping to door knock for you?
We do. We actually just started the Young Greens at Kent State this semester, which has been super exciting. They have been helping me out canvass and campaign on campus and off campus as well. We haven't done door knocking, but we've done flyering people's cars and putting leaflets and materials and windshield wipers, just because my campaign staff doesn't feel comfortable doing door knocking, and I completely understand where they're coming from. So in order to make up for that, we've done sign and wave events. I had a big 10-foot long banner donated to my campaign with my face on it, which is kind of embarrassing for me. So it has like Bashore for Ohio, the student revolution is now, right in Austin Bashore. It's great, I love it, but it's super embarrassing because it has a 3x3 cutout of my face on it. So we have done sign and waves, we've done banner drops across the district. I've traveled all around the district campaigning and canvassing. So we have been getting out, just not door knocking because that's scary for college students.
It's scary for me, trust me. I would have horrible anxiety walking up to those people's doors, and I'd be like, "Oh my God, who's going to answer?" And most of them were like fine, but then you get some that are like, "How can you vote for a man over a woman?" And you're risking.
I'm not very an outgoing person, so even going up to talk to them, be like, "Hi, my name's Austin Bashore. I'm running to be your next state representative." stresses me out a lot,
Yeah.
especially if I don't have a fellow canvasser with me. A few times I've just gone alone, gone solo, because all my campaign workers are college students. So midterm, especially during midterm week, I would just go out by myself and do things, and I would just feel overwhelmed. There'd be a horde of students walking to me, and I'm just like, oh no.
Well, I think you and I kind of sound similar in the sense that we're kind of free spirits until we're put on the spot to do something, and then all of a sudden we freeze.
Yeah.
um, so as far as voting, and
Mhm.
the whole voting process, what is your state like? Do you have paper ballots?
So for the state of Ohio, what we do is we have paper ballots, but we insert them into a machine. So they're counted digitally.
And do you get a
Yeah.
receipt?
Mm, I haven't voted in Ohio for a while because during the primary season I was still in South Korea. So I don't really know. So from my last experience, we do not get a receipt.
Do you a lot of Greens I speak with support ranked choice voting. What are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely, I completely endorse ranked choice voting. I believe it'll get rid of the spoiler effect that all the Democrats are afraid of. I've even told my Democratic opponent to support ranked choice voting. I've explained what it is during our Lions Club debate and stuff. And if they are so fearful of me stealing their elections, they need to invest in a better voting system. And so far, I haven't heard I haven't heard my Democrat opponent talk about ranked choice voting yet. So it's been an ongoing struggle.
Well, I interviewed someone last week from Maine, and they are the first state to actually implement it. So I'm looking forward to these results because I think it'll be a really advantageous way to break it down, see if we can approve anything, but
Mm-hmm.
also just kind of prove to people, look, that this is awesome. Because the way I try to explain it is, if Trump and Hillary were both nominees, because of the electoral college, she probably still would have won
Yeah,
because of the trajectory of how you vote. So sometimes I can get people thinking that way, but yeah, the thought of third parties being on the ballot terrifies people.
yeah, it does. I went to the Kent Environmental Council. I was invited to one of their events. And I
Kenya.
sat down, Kent Environmental
Oh,
Council.
I was like, you went to Kenya too? Come on now.
No, 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 no. I wish.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Kent Environmental Council invited me to one of their meetings, and I sat down. I didn't realize it was going to be a debate between me and my Democratic opponent.
Oh
Um,
my gosh.
they didn't tell me. They're just like, "Hey, come to one of our meetings," and I'm like, "Great." First off, it was at 8 a.m. Why do environmentalists do this? I don't know. But I sat down and I was introducing myself, and this one guy, he's like, I'm really glad you're running as a write-in candidate. I'm like, oh wow, thank you. Why you say that? He's like, because you can't win. And he's like, because you won't be stealing votes. And I said, sir, first off, I'm also glad I'm running as a write-in candidate because if people are physically writing my name in, that means they support me 100%, and they're never going to vote Democrat. But I can still win. I reminded him I can still win as a write-in candidate, 4,000 write-ins, um, and stuff like that. He was just really rude for no reason to me. He also commented on my age, saying I don't have any experience. And I said, first off, that is completely wrong. I am if equal, if not more experienced than my two opponents. I'm an international member of the Green Party of Korea. I'm a committee member of the International Committee for the United States. I'm the deputy social media manager for the Ohio Green Party. I have all these accolades. I speak Mandarin Chinese, Korean, and conversational Brazilian Portuguese. So this age factor does not play into effect at all. And he kind of just blew me off. So I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to stress about it because he's not going to vote for me in the first place.
Yeah. Wow, vote shaming is the worst thing. Like I just wrote an article on it. It's so crazy and it helps
Mm-hmm.
nothing. That's
It
that's
really
one of
doesn't.
the reasons I'm so supportive of ranked choice voting, because if somebody says who'd you vote for and you say such and such, well, did you vote for so and so too? Yeah. You just don't tell them it was like 15, but you still can say, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that idea. I'm hoping that
Mhm.
it works out advantageously in Maine so we can hopefully get that going elsewhere.
Yeah.
What else are you hoping to see voting wise? Would you like open primaries?
The current system in California worries me. So I do not want to see that implemented. I believe it is a way just for Democrats to continue to control all the power, because we see contests in California that are between Democrat and Democrat. There's no opposition voice. There's no opposition choice. Luckily, a few Greens actually made it to the final round in California, so there is finally some opposition. But for the longest time, it's been Democrats dominating the top two system, I think is what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have an opinion on open primaries, to be honest. I don't know much about it. I just know that the Ohio system has closed primaries, and that's how you gain party membership. Is when you go to you can only change your party membership during a primary season, and you have to go to the voting booth or the table at the voting center, and they used to ask you Democrat, Republican, or Green, and depending on your answer determines your party status for the next 2 years, which is kind of wild. Now they'll ask Democrat, Republican, Green, or Libertarian, because the Libertarians recently regained ballot access after submitting 100,000 or so odd signatures, which is completely rude nonsense for a political party to have to go through that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're in Pennsylvania, we're closed primaries, and it's so frustrating because I vote person, not party. So I'm a
Mm-hmm.
proud independent. But if I do want to vote for a Dem, I have to switch my affiliation for 30 days. And
Hmm.
even though I don't want to, just to vote for that person and then
Yeah.
literally go home and take a shower and then switch back like ASAP.
Yeah, that screwed me over the close primaries in Ohio because when I voted in the presidential primaries, I voted for Bernie Sanders. So I was a Democrat for 2 years until the next primary. So what I had to do when I was in Korea, I had to vote in the primaries abroad. It was fun and all, except the Portage County Board of Elections gave $35 to express mail my primary ballot request, not even my primary ballot, my request for a primary ballot, from a rural area in Korea to a rural area in the United States. And when I finally got my primary ballot, I had no issues because it was so early. All I had was the Green Party candidate for governor, and Green Party writing candidate for Secretary of State, Green Party writing candidate for treasurer, and I believe that was it on my ballot. So it wasn't a fun experience, but I had to do it in order to change my party status to Green Party so I can finally sign petitions for my party.
Yeah. Wow. It's so unnecessarily complicated.
Yeah.
Um,
So I
what is,
spent $30, $40 just to vote in a primary.
wow. You are very passionate about LGBTQ things and as well as social justice as a whole. Did that start before you started your campaign?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been an advocate for the rights of queer people for, gosh, as long as I can remember. I've always thought it was wrong to discriminate based on something someone can't control, such as race, gender, or sexual orientation. And that came from the fact I grew up in a very Tea Party Republican family. And I would hear people in the area just being rude for no reason and then using it, oh, but we're good Christians. And I was like, that's really not Christianity to me. So I've been an advocate for minority peoples and a voice for them for, again, as long as I can remember. And then when it started getting more intense during the presidential election my senior year of high school. And then after graduating high school, I submitted an application to join the Party for Socialism and Liberation. that was before my time with the Greens. And so thanks to the PSL, my general angst to the system turned into activism, radical activism, for the liberation of oppressed peoples worldwide and not just in the United States. But the Green Party has given me an electoral voice, an electoral choice, and has again pushed me away from a general angst to the system to changing people's lives. Recently, while I was out canvassing Tuesday, I ran into a homeless camp here in Kent, and most people would turn their nose and walk away. But me, being the innocent little flower I am, I decided to sit down and talk with them. I talked to them, I asked them how they're doing and stuff like that. And I didn't straight up tell them I'm running for office. I just wanted to get to know them on a human level and not have that on the surface. So they talked to me, they told me how they were doing, how they became homeless and stuff like that. And then towards the end of the conversation, they told me that they're hungry and they needed something to eat. And I have $10 to my name as a college student. I couldn't feed all three of them, but I had known of a co-op in town that they could go to. So I told them about the co-op and stuff, and I also told them I'm running for state representative. And I'll never forget what the lady told me. She looked at me, she's like, "Oh, you're our hope." And that really hit me. And I was like, why me? Why this random college student? I've never faced struggle or hunger in my life. Sorry, I'm choking up thinking about it. But yeah, why me? And it just goes to show that we need to do better for our people. There's no reason why we should have more empty houses than homeless people. Homelessness shouldn't be a problem. If we're the greatest country in the world, if we're the greatest country in the world, we must act like it. And it really humbled me and hit me home and realized why I'm running in this race, because we have to do better.
We do. You do. I'm tearing up. Sorry. No, but it's also a beautiful example of, not everyone tells people how much they mean to them and how much what their words are doing for them internally. So we go about our day and we think if somebody doesn't, come up and say, "You're the greatest thing ever," that like we're not appreciated. But there are people who, think, good things about us that we just haven't been told. So that's pretty amazing. A team member here at RP, Rob, he wants to know if you support a federal job guarantee.
Absolutely. I support something that all Greens support called the Green New Deal. The Green New Deal will transform our economy on a wartime basis to 100% green renewable energy by 2030, as well as a federal jobs guarantee. I have in my platform that a job should be a constitutional right in the state of Ohio. So I believe we should have full employment to those who can work, and full protections for those who cannot.
Absolutely. What if you want to leave something with our viewers to take away so that they post the show or send your information to other people in Ohio? What do you want them to take away from this?
I believe in the state of Ohio, in our electoral system, we have no equalism and we have no feminism and democracy. And my campaign is really here to bring that into the light. Women, especially working class women here in the United States, are facing tremendous attack from the denial of abortion rights, the Supreme Court ruling that that corporations can deny women contraceptive due to their religious beliefs, as well as the failing of the Equal Rights Amendment. I believe that we need an Equal Rights Amendment in the Ohio State Constitution. And it all boils down to the fact corporations have a right to rule over women's and workers' lives. I want to establish Ohio as a feminist utopia because I believe women deserve it all and more. Our candidate for governor, Constance Goodell Newton, I love her to death. She is the only woman on the ballot here in the state of Ohio. She is like a sister to me. She stayed at my apartment multiple times over the course of this campaign. But she has really been there for me when I wasn't even there for myself at some times. There would be events that I would plan for my campaign, and it would just be me and her that showed up, and that really drug me down. And but she really brought me back up. And I believe Ohio has never had a woman governor. We had one for 11 days, but she was an interim governor because someone quit. And I believe it's time for Ohio to be a feminist utopia, and it's time to elect a woman into the highest office here in the state of Ohio. As well, I just want my campaign to be known for compassion and to be a voice for those who feel voiceless, whether it be students, whether it be queer folk, whether it be minority students, minority peoples here in the state of Ohio. I'm here to fight, and I'm not going to be pushed around and let those who wish to divide us attempt to divide us, because that will not be happening under a Green state representative.
Oh, I could squeeze you. I just want to put you in my pocket.
Thank you.
I wish I could vote for you. You're just awesome. You're so intelligent and well-spoken, and you are amazing. Thank you for asking to come on and reaching out to RP, because sometimes people do, and I'm just like, I'm gonna have to pass on. But when I saw you and looked you up, I was like, oh, I need this kid. Yep.
Thank you so much. Because of the media blackout, there's been a lot of things. Even our own student newspaper in Kent State University will not report on me, a Kent State student running for office. So like I said earlier, I had to physically show up to the Record Courier, our local newspaper station, in order for them to get to report on me. And then they said, oh, we just didn't know you were on the ballot. Again, like, I'm on the Board of Elections website.
If they didn't know that, they suck at their job. Like,
yeah. And then when it comes to an hour after the votes are tallied, all the news organizations are going to be knocking on my door, get quotes from me. When they chose to ignore my campaign the entire time, it's annoying as a third-party candidate. People won't take us seriously, but I'm in it to win it. And I believe in the power of students, that we can do this. We don't want politicians who die in 20 years dictating the rest of our lives. I believe as students, it's time to put the power within our hands, and it's possible.
Absolutely. That is an awesome way to close out. You guys, thank you so much for watching. I am in talks with a few other candidates, which may happen during the weekend, but it very well may be Mr. Austin as my last 2018 candidate interview, which makes me so sad after doing about 100 different candidates. Yeah, more than any other independent media. So I've connected with a lot of them, and I'm going to love talking to you again, Austin. You're amazing.
Thank you. It was nice to talk to you.
Thank you, and take care, you guys. Everybody have a good weekend, and get off your fucking asses and vote on Tuesday.
Live green, vote green, smoke green.
Have a good night. Take care. Best of luck, Austin.
Thank you.